Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's Devin Thomas back with another episode of Unscripted. Wow, lots to talk about this week. First and foremost, it's Sunday morning. I just took a nice walk, had a bunch of coffee, feeling good. Spring is in the air. It was actually nice going out on a walk. You could tell it's not going to be freezing anymore. Even in California, it's ice fucking cold. So, and if you're elsewhere, I feel for you. But besides the point, I've had a lot on my mind this week in regards to Hollywood, and I think I kind of mentioned this last week, but like the thing I've been thinking about Hollywood is being echoed throughout most circles and most people talking. It's funny, I saw a clip of Tim Dillon talking to Andrew Schultz. I think they're promoting his new Netflix special or whatever, but he kind of started promoting that, and then he went immediately into like the same kind of like thought loop I feel like that I've been subjected to, which is like Hollywood's losing its relevancy and its power over people that it's kind of had for such a long time. And I guess the point I'll get to is that it's like, if everyone's saying this, like, it's obviously history repeats itself. So has this happened before? Like, when did Hollywood lose its, I wouldn't say relevancy, but social, grip it had on people's like hearts, souls, and minds? Because at one point, when I was a kid, Hollywood was like the gold standard for what you would think or how you would feel about shit. And like, it's not religion, it's just like the social aspect. People go out and they talk about it from like a socialite point of view, like, oh, Hollywood's this or Hollywood's that and blah, 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 blah. Or like so-and-so, even like styles and trends. It's so many things, but like, what people wear, what people want to talk like, or how they want to act. They model themselves after somebody in a movie or Hollywood. And I feel like right now that I think this Tim Dillon guy had a point. He was talking about how like that shit is just not like they can feel it. The business can feel it. The industry can feel it. Their influence on culture is not the same right now. I think even if you fucking look to the last like year or even last 4 years, I'd say politics took over culture. People looked up to politicians and people way more than like fucking actors and writers and directors. Like all that shit seems so insubstantial compared to like politicians and like, shit like that in the last few years. And that's just me, off the cuff, speaking from my heart. Like, I really do feel like that is where people were looking for a truth or an answer, which is, that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah, people felt drawn to politics to find whatever truth they were seeking about life versus like the movies. There's always, of course, like there's still Hollywood films and movies in the indie film scene that are speaking truths to people, Americans, people worldwide, etc. But yeah, I kind of struck me when he started talking about relevancy and influence, and it's not even about money when it comes to that, because people are still getting rich, people are still making money in Hollywood or wherever, the streaming world, etc. But I feel like the social grip that they had on society right now, at least, it's feeling, lesser than it ever has. Like, I don't think people are looking to, I don't know, this is a bad example, I guess, but like Ezra Miller, nobody's trying to fucking be like Ezra Miller. Fuck that guy, right? This kind of goes into my next point. I was really thinking about this a lot. Like, Hollywood at some point had this happen before. I was reading online, I think like the 60s or 70s, like late 60s, like the golden era kind of fucking faded off. Studios are being sold. It was becoming commoditized, kind of like right now. And people really felt drawn to, I guess, making shit on their own, like the indie scene. That's when you really started having like the George Lucases, the Francis Ford Coppolas, the Scorseses, right? They started coming out in that late 60s, 70s period, making indie movies, doing something that the studios before had never done. Like, nobody was making a fucking Godfather back in the day. There was crime, there was noir, but it wasn't done in the way he was doing it. Or like Scorsese, he was doing like really violent, gory shit. You probably heard the whole thing about Taxi Driver, how he had to like desaturate the blood in the last scene because it was so fucking red and violent. People were like, oh my God, now you watch fucking Squid Games, they're blowing people's brains out left and right. No one gives a fuck about that. But at some point in time, it was like revolutionary and shocking, and it had a shock value to it that people would be like, oh, like, I can't fucking believe this. But I think that's kind of where we're coming back to. Shit is feeling so recycled. It's feeling like it's just been done. It's happened. The craziest ideas have been done, or like every idea has been fucking capitalized on, but not to like the best execution. So you have so much shit swimming out in the world of streaming. It just feels like there's no value, there's no relevancy to it. This may be how Hollywood is feeling back in the day in a different, way because of technology, etc. But What brought the movies back in the 60s and 70s to make Hollywood relevant again? Well, it's no different than now. In the 80s, Hollywood took a new approach to movies. They started making the blockbuster and really focusing on making something that was like more spectacle effects driven, big name actor, or maybe even an unknown, like, fucking like Back to the Future or something, where it's like, oh, we're going to get like somebody and we're going to make them the thing. And then we're going to fucking do the effects and all that shit. And then not only were they going to see it in the theater and it would run for fucking, 4 or 5 years in the theater, because back then they used to keep a movie. If it was fucking selling tickets, you could go see Back to the Future for a while. They're going to sell fucking VHS tapes. That opened the door to indie film and blockbusters being even like bigger revenue streams, was like at home video. So when you look at that in parallel to today, it's been probably 30, 40 years. What the fuck came out that really blew the lid off? It's not like DVDs took out VHS. Yeah, sure, that was a transition of technology, but people are still buying. It was still a revenue stream. Well, the answer is no secret. Streaming is what has disrupted the film industry. It not only like is killing movie theaters and it killed DVDs and VHS. I don't know last time, like people are always like, I got the Criterion collection. I'm like, God bless you. Like if they sold a just digital version of Criterion, I'm sure they do, and they have subscriptions and shit, they'll fucking get that. Like I love the physical media and I think it should exist, but who the fuck is putting a disc in their fucking player at this point? I mean, I have a VHS player. I understand the like drive to want that, physical fucking hardware there to use. It is nice, but let's be honest. Like, I think that in 2025, everything has gone to streaming. And streaming, this is no secret. Everyone knows it's disrupted the business. It's changed everything. But it's like, holy shit. We're at a point where streaming is now done maybe more harm than good to some extent to the film business. And that is really because of the saturated market. You used to have to go and see a movie in theaters and then wait for it to come out, right? I think we need to maybe even go back to that. Like maybe you should only have your movie in theaters, like complete, like there's no fucking pirating. Maybe somebody goes in with a camera and films it, but like even just police it harder. Try and find out a way to just eliminate pirating and rogue copies of your film getting out as much as possible. It's difficult to do, but if there's limited access to visibility of seeing the film and it's not going to be on fucking Netflix or on streaming the week after it comes out, or even 30 days or 60 days, then maybe that's what we do. You toughen up and you say, like, you want to see the best premium fucking films, you go to the theater and see them, because I think it adds an inherent value going and seeing it in the theater. It's an experience. Like it's like going to a concert, you could watch it on TV or you could fucking go, there's an experience with it. So that might be like kind of going back to what used to work and maybe making those events more special. I mean, never hurts when you go to a film and there's like cast and crew. I understand they can't roll out fucking Scorsese or somebody to every fucking screening in America, but incentivizing people to come for some sort of Q&A or like some shit, that always helps. I understand it's more of a premiere thing and stuff, but in general, bringing people back to the theaters is going to be really dictated by, I think, like making it more than just seeing the movie. And then on top of that, limiting access to the film. Limited access is going to be, I don't know. Yeah, I think that's going to be what really makes people want to put value on a movie, especially like, let's get to this. This past weekend, Snow White came out, right? Holy shit. It is probably one of Disney's biggest fucking flops right now. Yeah, I mean, this movie was made for $250 million, okay? Opening weekend domestic gross, 43 mil. International gross, 44.3. I mean, it's just fucking awful. Total worldwide gross, 87.3 million. It's just so bad. These numbers stink. And you know what? The movie also just got tore apart on fucking IMDb, like heavy, like 2.2 out of 10. Like it's just fucking, the audience is rejecting what they're selling, I also had some other stats here. Indiana Jones, $294.7 million budget. It's massive, bloated. $384 million worldwide gross. Final outcome, estimated losses around $143 million, marking one of Disney's significant financial setbacks since John Carter. One of their worst since John Carter. The list goes on, Also, I'd like to note that Inside Out 2, I've mentioned this before, got beat by Flow for the Oscar, right? They actually took the home fucking statue with Flow. Yeah, Inside Out was a $200 million budget. It made about $1.7 billion. They're still getting rich. That's fine, and they need that for their bottom line. Domestic gross, 650 mil, about $1 billion internationally. So that performs, but at the end of the day, from an artistic point of view, the $3.7 million Flow smoked it with like, actual recognition. And it's not, I'd say it's not a competition, but they're fucking putting out awards. So clearly to some extent, this shit is a competition. And it also just kind of sets the tone for who's going to come in next and actually like, swoop up the business, swoop up the industry. I think it's going to end up being indie once again. And I'm going to stick to that fucking song I've been singing. Yeah. So this also goes to get back to the thing that I was talking about in the beginning of the podcast, because I think this is important, is that like fame is also changing with all this going on. The internet has like democratized fame. Like clearly I was mentioning Tim Dillon, Andrew Schultz, these comedians. I've never seen them in person. I've only seen them on a screen. And you know where I first saw them? On my fucking cell phone. It is clearly the medium that you're going to get seen these days is social media. You have to have a presence. I don't care if you're the best auteur in the world or the funniest comedian in the world. Like putting yourself out there and being seen is the only way you're really going to have relevancy. So how does that help just the average Joe? I think it's not only getting visibility, but it's the gatekeeping aspect of like, hey, like we can put you on a stage and get you seen, or like the payola, like pay up. We'll let you pay, $200 and you can do 10 minutes before so-and-so or 5 minutes before so-and-so, whatever. And that's the dirty secret about all these businesses, is that people always want everybody wants to get fucking paid. So someone's working an angle, and like, you can keep working that angle, or you can go to social media and the internet and fucking do whatever you want to do, put yourself out there, however you want to put yourself out there. And you can really like independently gain this fame and notoriety and whatever on the internet, following on the internet, before you even go out and do that. That's not saying that people don't go, like even comedians don't go out there and cut their, teeth on like stage and practice the craft, do stage work, crowd work. I think that's important to do. Is 100% you have to do that stuff, but you don't have to just struggle. It'd be like a local band playing at the same bar every night, being like, maybe someone will walk in here one day. It's like, you can keep going out and doing that if you love doing the performance, but really, like, how are you going to market yourself if you're really serious about doing this? Anything you're doing, band, fucking the comedian, being a filmmaker, you need to have visibility on the internet, social media presence combined with being talented and actually good at your craft and just always working on it. But I think like that's the big fucking, I wouldn't even call it blind spot in the business, but so many people I meet that are complaining about like, oh, no one's watching my shit. It's like, well, fuck, you need to really like, you got to turn it up to 11 on social media. I'll stand by that. That's something my entire crew and I have been doing, and it's real world results. It works. So, that in my opinion is like how you're going to break into the business these days. People want to hear your voice. They want to see you. They want to know that you're serious about it, that you're informed. You're more than just a creator. You're more than just a filmmaker. You're more than just an actor, more than just a writer, more than just a comedian. You are a player in the game, and people, they're drawn to that energy and knowing that you understand it. I think it also goes into another aspect of fame, is that people nowadays want people that are not only like, serious about the work, but they want people that are down to earth. Like, I think like one thing about Hollywood for so long is that everybody is put on a pedestal, like so-and-so, so special and so, and like whatever. And they are special. They are talented. Sure. But transparency has really become, I think, more of a attractive quality about somebody who's famous, is like the down to earth, like less pretentious, less like I'm so untouchable, like no one can fuck with me image. Like, yeah, there's some people that are so famous. I get it. Like, Johnny Depp, he's so famous, he's probably fucking can't walk through anywhere without people being, it's Johnny fucking Depp. Maybe he's a little annoyed by his fame. I mean, I think it's petty, but at the same time, like I'm not in that position, but I could understand. Now, he's just one example of so many. I'm not trying to rip on Johnny Depp. I love Johnny Depp, but I think it kind of comes to a point where people are feeling like, yeah, like I don't want the dickhead fucking actor or actress who thinks they're the shit and that everyone else is beneath them. That shit's out. Like, if you try to even pull that shit now, like, you can have a healthy ego, but you can't be like a cocky fucking asshole. Like look at like Kanye West. That motherfucker is, I think he's dead to a lot of people. He's dead to me. I liked his old shit. I draw the line at whatever he's fucking been doing in the last few years. It's just like, bro, like, you are a fucking asshole and nobody's going to fucking want to fucking listen to your shit or be your friend. You're just a jerk off, and fuck him. That shit's out. He thinks because he's famous, he can get away with acting like that. And yeah, he's a rock star, I guess, but that shit's dead. People want people that are transparent, down to earth, relatable, they want to see behind the curtain. Like, you see celebrities so much that you think, oh, like, look, they seem like they're perfect. They're always dressed so well. It's like, nah, people don't care. Like, people are cool if they see fucking Sydney Sweeney in a pair of fucking Lululemon wearing a hoodie that says whatever her fucking hometown's name. No one gives a fuck. Like, so I don't know. I think that's a healthy thing that the business is doing. Not even self-correcting, but people are just kind of like over that mysterious protected class of Hollywood. I'd even say with the Me Too movement, like, I don't like cancel culture. I thought Me Too had its own value within the business, and I think it was important that it did happen and that there are legitimate victims and people that like that shouldn't have had to come out, right? And you can't have this nefarious element of Hollywood existing out there, like the dark side of Hollywood per se, right? It's disgusting, but that birthed cancel culture, and cancel culture went from like, hey, like there's legitimate victims to like just fucking somebody says something that people don't agree with and now they're canceled. And like, once again, I think the system's self-correcting. This is a controversial topic to talk about, but like, I think it's important because the pendulum swings one way and then it swings back to the other. It always does. And right now it's swinging kind of back towards the middle. And I think that's a healthy spot for the business to be swinging. And I think it's healthy for just everyone. Like, people should be able to say what they want to say without feeling like the cancel button's going to, hit them at any given moment. And it's like, fuck, like, people need to have these conversations and people need to talk. And even right now, this is like a healthy conversation about kind of the status quo, the state of a fucking affairs in Hollywood. I don't know. I think it's important. And I think, once again, the cancel culture and all that shit, it goes into like, it kind of dismantled Hollywood by making people feel so untouchable because there is shit that has like been bad in Hollywood. Like, I don't know if you guys ever heard about the Kill Bill 2 situation where Uma was like injured on set driving a car, and I wouldn't say Tarantino covered it up. I think that he obviously, there's no doubt in my mind that he felt the guiltiest out of anybody when she got in this car accident on set. But like, I think it might have been Weinstein or the company. And I don't want to speak out of hand here, but yeah, somebody tried to cover it up. The production tried to cover it up. And it's like, that's the type of shit I'm talking about. It's like, I don't know. We need transparency. If somebody's getting injured or hurt, yeah, it's just, it's unacceptable. So anyways, I don't want to get too far away from the point, but yeah, I think just in general, like Hollywood's kind of having a reset. There's a change of hands between studios, ownership, type of filmmakers coming in. It's kind of like an out with the old and with the new, and you can feel it, the cycle. I think a lot of things are based on a 30-year cycle. I have a background in real estate. So when I was doing real estate, they talk about planned unit developments, like neighborhoods, right? And this is like your average, like, it's the fucking typical, build where there's the gated community per se, right? That neighborhood that it's nice, but then like, 20 years later you look and you're like, oh shit, it's kind of not as nice as it used to be. Well, planned unit development lives on a 30-year cycle. The first 10 years, it's like new fucking buyers. The people that are maybe more affluent or rich, they move in. Then they sell those houses for equity. And the people that move in after that are maybe like families with kids, and it's a nice home, but like, you can tell it's like, oh, this is kind of like not a hand-me-down, but it's been used, right? It's 10 years old. Then by the time those people move out, it's been 20 years. The house is in probably rougher shape, not remodeled, and maybe you get some flippers in there, but typically you get people that are lower income. They come in and buy the house. They're like, oh, this neighborhood's, more affordable because people are moving out. The homes aren't as nice as it used to be. The developments around it have made it more urban. Like, that's what happens, right? So the planned unit development kind of becomes not what it used to be. I kind of would compare Hollywood to that right now. I feel like it's just not what it used to be. And maybe this is healthy that is happening. They're in the PUD phase 3, the 30 fucking year mark, where they're like, hey, like this streaming shit started off in the last, 25 years with, the internet, and, probably since 95, if you really want to get to it, let's just say 95. That's when the internet boomed. .com started forming. I know streaming wasn't where it is now, but it wasn't, '05. I think YouTube came out. So like 10 years after the internet really got to popularity, you have now fucking streaming and then YouTube, and the thing has evolved and evolved, but it's been 30 years. And I think like the new wave is going to be, and I've talked about this heavily, independent filmmakers. People outside of the system are going to come in, guys like me that want to make a movie and do it on a budget, and the quality gap is closed so much. I've been watching so many videos of cameras and shit, and it's like, fuck, like the gap is just every fucking day is closing. There's good lenses, good gear, etc. People are going to be able to come in, make movies for no money, and with unknown actors and make those actors famous because they're going to be able to put this shit out on their own behalf, market it on their own behalf. People watch it, they like it, they get to know the new faces, the new names, the new writers, the new directors, the new cinematographers. It's just, you can create your own ecosystem at this point. And I think Hollywood is really feeling the pressure that people don't give a fuck about what they're selling anymore as much as like, hey, if something's actually good or interesting or relevant or culturally influential. And they're just not feeling it. You know, you make a $300 million movie like fucking Indiana Jones, was it part 5? And people aren't, you know, I don't think it's selling more costumes for kids to go dress up like Indiana Jones. People just don't care anymore. And maybe it's just the end of an era. It's sad but true, but at the same time, it's kind of like, fuck it. You know, new blood needs to come in and pump some new life into Hollywood. And I think that Hollywood will come back, but it's going to be because indie filmmaking is going to it's just going to boom so big. And there's going to be, you know, the victors of the fucking indie film scene that come into Hollywood, and they'll end up being the new generation that carries on the legacy of Hollywood. Hollywood will never go away, but I think, you know, it's like a fucking stock chart. They're up, they're down. Right now it's like, but they're going to fucking get that new stock and it's going to go right back up to the top. So anyways, I'll leave the Hollywood talk at that for now. I mean, I know it sounds like I'm bashing it, but you know, I'm obviously a fan of Hollywood and I like it. And I love movies and I love the culture and I love the identity that Hollywood has left on America. You know, to some extent, there's a lot of good versus a lot of bad. And like, look, I'm not trying to make it political. It's just, at the end of the day, I think everybody loves entertainment. They love watching movies. They love Hollywood. Hollywood's had a lot to offer the world. I think I heard somebody from Netflix, maybe it's Greg Hastings, talking about Hollywood and how impactful it is in the world. And it's like, I think for fucking 5% of the world's population, we export 85% of the entertainment. So if you look at it from that, like, we are number one. Hollywood is the number one entertainment manufacturer in the world. We export entertainment in America, and we export culture. We export pop culture worldwide, you know, and it's Western culture, it's Western ideology. And I, as an American, I'm very proud of that. I think it's fucking awesome that we're number one at that. And it's a big reason I wanted to be a filmmaker, is I want to be part of that Americana legacy of Hollywood, you know, filmmaking. You kind of get to put your voice out into the world, and if it gets heard and people like it, I think it's pretty fucking awesome, you know, for me at least. That's the type of vision I have. So anyways, I don't want to just beat this horse dead. I'll get on with it. I've been working on Feel It All Around. Really at this point, it's just, I ordered a fuck ton of gear. Really going to dial in some gear tests with like audio and stuff. Just like little upgrades, you know. Peninsula Nights came out fucking great. One thing I've been thinking about a lot is when you go out to shoot a movie, you want to protect your time, the investment of how much time you're actually spending shooting. It's very, very important that, like, not only are you going out with the best gear, but like protecting your time. You don't want to have to go back. Like, even doing a dubbing session on Peninsula Nights, it was fuck. Like, it was brutal on the actors. It was brutal on me. I'm not an audio engineer. I've done plenty of mixing and shit. I guess I'm like a jack of all trades to some extent, but you know, I can only do so much. Stevie's actually a way better audio engineer than me, and you know, he worked that shit hard, but you just don't want to have to do that. So it's like preventative measures. I was reading about this thing called risk tolerance with stock trading and like crypto. And I look at my life, like when I read the term, it's like, you know, I'd heard it, but I really like looked into it. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Like, when it comes to filmmaking, especially with like Feel It All Around or Peninsula Nights, any of this indie shit, my risk tolerance is just fucking through the roof. And I'd say Stevie as well. Like, our risk tolerance is massive. And I am not afraid to just bet the farm and make sure that whatever needs to be taken care of, if it's a protection of time and the investment, that's the most important thing. And I don't know, I think this is another thing people should know, is like, you put a lot of your self wants and needs on hold when you're doing indie filmmaking. Cause I have a lot of people who are like, I want to get in the door and like, can you help me? And can I hop on your train? It's like, yeah, you can, but it's like, dude, I'm putting up all the fucking risk. I'm creating the opportunity. People want to just waltz in here and, you know, ride on the coattails. That's fine. I get it. There's always going to be people like that, but it's like, keep in mind, like, my risk tolerance is so fucking high. Like, why weren't you doing this already on your own? Might sound like an asshole, but it's true. It's like, if you wanted this so bad, why aren't you fucking doing it already? And I'm not trying to sound like a jerk, but it's like, hey, like, we could all take the same risk. I just have the balls to do it. And I know Stevie as well. We're, you know, co-investors on all this shit. Yeah, put your money where your fucking mouth is if you want to get into the indie film game. and, be good at what you do. Those are really the two things. Like, not only like, have the mindset that you can be good at what you do by practicing the craft and actually working on your skills, being a good writer, being a good actor, being a good cinematographer, like learn your shit. And then after that, it's like, fucking being willing to take the risk. Are you going to take out fucking $30,000 of credit card debt or $100,000 fucking dollars? Are you going to work to get the money to do it? It's all risk. Or you could just make $100,000 and say, fuck it, I think I'm going to go on vacation and pay my bills and live my life like, everyone else. That's most people. Unfortunately, not most people are the ones that actually fucking make it because they are willing to do that and take the risk. So, yeah, I just thought that was funny. I was reading about, trading and shit, and I was like, oh, risk tolerance. I was like, I must be fucking like extremely risk tolerant because I don't throw Hail Marys every time, but I bet big, and especially on filmmaking, like there's things that I'll save money on. Like I'll be like, oh, that TV is a little cheaper, I'll get that, or whatever bullshit. Like, Clorox versus generic. It's like, it's all bleach, right? But when it comes to filmmaking, it's like, no, fuck that. Like, I want to make a premium film. I'm going to spend premium dollars to make sure that this shit is protected. So that's something like this week with just buying gear. I was like, is it worth it? And it's like, it's always fucking worth it if you're serious about doing it. So, and that doesn't mean just go blow fucking 100 G's on a credit card. It means like, if you need to spend the money to make this shit happen, fucking do it. Because, you could wonder what if, or you could just do it. And if it doesn't work out, then, hey, you know what? Maybe it's not for you. But I think not knowing is fucking way more painful than trying. And even if it costs you a little bit of money. So, yeah, on Field All Around, that has been what I've been up to. We're going to do a little camera testing probably today or, tonight. And yeah, then I'm going to get the ball rolling on production. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you've been talking about going into production for so long. And it's like, yeah, like, well, there's been a lot of factors. We've had the fires, we've had the weather. Like I said at the beginning of this podcast, it feels like it's fucking finally, spring. And yeah, I think everything's coming around. So I'm excited to get started on that. I need to cast a few more principal parts. I've been actually like trying to negotiate with some people, and I like to get some, notable figures in the film, but it's a slow dance when it comes to talking with agents and shit. So we're making that work. I guess, what else have I been up to? Been watching White Lotus. I don't know if you guys have caught up. Last week's episode was a little weird. I liked it. There's that, if you've been watching, basically, I kind of talked about it last week, but the characters are kind of split up in this episode. There's the Draco Malfoy character. He and his wife have dinner with their daughter, and she kind of tells him how, hey, like, I think I want to stay in Thailand, and lied about why they're even there, how she was trying to go to this monastery, and she wanted to be a monk for a year to find her purpose in life, because even though she has everything, like, she still can't figure it out. And the parents are kind of like, are you fucking kidding? Like, anyways, so during this dinner, Malfoy, I don't remember the character's name, but Malfoy goes to, I think he like goes to call somebody or smoke a stogie out in the front near the guard's office, and the guard leaves, and Malfoy ends up seeing his pistol, the guy talk guy's pistol, who's already in like hot shit because of all this bad stuff happening at the hotel. And he takes the gun. And then when the guy gets back, he sees that the gun's missing, and he's like, holy shit, like, who took the fucking gun? And, he goes back on the security footage and he sees it's Malfoy, and he tries to confront him while he's still having dinner with his family, but he's not able to. So anyways, that kind of plays out later in the episode where even though he confronts Malfoy, Malfoy denies it. And then it shows Malfoy like considering killing himself before his wife interjects. So the pressure's rising. His character's obviously like suicidal and ready to go because of his FBI investigation and shit back home. And then I think, what do we see? We see Belinda and this porn shy guy. They finally like hook up, but it's more subtle, I guess. Like they kind of just like in her room because she's afraid this Greg guy's after her. Their story, though, is really just like their character development in this episode is just like, hey, they make out, and, it kind of cuts away. And then Walton Goggins goes to Bangkok. There's a nice cameo from Sam Rockwell. The conversation they have is weird as fuck. You've probably seen the memes, but it's cool. Despite how weird it is, I guess he makes a point. But yeah, you just got to see it. That shit's been memed everywhere, though. So if you haven't seen the show, but you've seen the memes, you'll need to reference the scene. And then, yeah, it shows like Schwarzenegger and like the brother. They go out with these two chicks on this boat, and they kind of have like it's just weird. I don't even know what to say. Like kind of an incestual moment. I don't even want to repeat it, but yeah, it's the plot thickens, I guess. It was a weird episode though. It was more, I I don't know. I feel like we're getting close to the climax. So White Lotus season 3, episode 5, I think it was pretty good. And I just love the show. It's weird. It's fucked up. It goes in directions you don't expect. And I think that's like the best thing. It's like, you don't really know what's going to happen. So, you know, it's fun. And then like, we'll rewatch the episodes during the week around the house and I'll always catch something new. I'm like, oh, like this porn chai guy with Belinda, like he's been so nice to her the whole time. He's wanted to get to know her the whole time. Now I'm starting to think like, well, why is he being so nice to her? Does he know Greg or Gary from him coming to the White Lotus? Is there an inside job? Or those are my predictions right now, is that maybe the porn chai guy has worse intentions than she thinks because he seems like the perfect guy. And we don't know anything about him other than he works at the hotel. Oh, also, I forgot to mention the 3 ladies that are like staying in the villa together. They end up hooking up with these Russian guys, or like one of them does. And I don't know. It's just, are they bad guys? They're from like Vladivostok. Are they going to fucking murder her or kill her? She is a famous actress back in the States. Do they know that? Do they think they can extort her? Everything seems to be brewing up to like a climactic bad situation. So I don't know. My prediction right now, though, is that maybe Belinda and Porn Chai's relationship isn't as innocent as she thinks it is. Maybe has more information about her than she knows. Anyways, I digress. Enough White Lotus talk. This is a little bit more of an honorable mention, a little late to the game, but last week I also was looking for just like another show to watch, and on HBO they had The Righteous Gemstones, and I guess it's in its final season. Actually, this is how I stumbled upon it. I was watching Theo Vaughn, and I saw Theo interviewing Danny McBride, and I've always loved Danny McBride. Funny, I know him as Red from fucking Pineapple Express, Eastbound and Down, fucking This Is the End. He's a fucking, he's one of the funniest guys ever. But I hadn't really been following his career lately, and when I saw Righteous Gemstones, he talked about it. He's talking about how it's in its last season. I guess it's only 4 seasons, but he's like, it's perfect. It's like the time to end it, and I enjoyed the podcast so much. I was like, well, fuck it. It's right here on HBO. Went over from White Lotus, clicked on it. Dude, I've watched every fucking episode. I guess this last season's still airing. So I think episode 3 maybe comes out today or sometime this week. I'm not sure when they release episodes, but 10 out of 10, maybe the best thing I've watched in a while. HBO never fucking disappoints. They make the best TV, period. If you have not seen The Righteous Gemstones, that is the only thing you should go watch right now. I'd even say like fuck White Lotus. If you don't have the time, go watch The Righteous Gemstones. You'll blow through all the seasons and catch up. I'd probably within, a couple days. It was an easy ride. It had that feeling you get when you watch a show like Entourage, where it's just next episode, and you want to keep watching. I haven't felt that for a show in a while. Like, I think most people, the shows they think of when they think of like a burner show, they think of like The Office, Friends. It was like that. You throw it on and it's just like, fuck, like every episode's good. I want to know what the characters, what happens to them. I care about them. Danny McBride does a very nice hybrid between like, just hilarious comedy and like heartfelt moments, and it's multi-genre. There's a mystery, and at the core of it, there's a heart and soul, and it's very, very, just good, honest filmmaking that it makes you want to go make something. So Righteous Gemstones, or The Righteous Gemstones. Also, John Goodman's in it, and I haven't seen him in something in a while, and he's like thin and tall. He looks good, and completely different John Goodman than the John Goodman I grew up with. And it's almost like he's been reinvented to some extent. Even if he was a little heavier, I don't think he could have played this character. It's like he's a completely new actor. So fucking loving John Goodman lately. Truly, truly great role for him as Elijah Gemstone. Anyways, The Righteous Gemstones, go check it out. 10 out of 10. One of the best shows on TV right now. Anyways, I've spoken enough. I'm going to go enjoy the rest of my Sunday. This is Devin Thomas with another episode of Unscripted. I'll see you next week, guys.